Good day, good morning, and good evening, Commanders. Today, I'll be sharing some basic tips that can help you improve your gameplay. As always, if you find this video helpful, please leave a like down below. Without further ado, let's get on with the video. First tip of the day is your ideal settings. So, the most important ones are the following. So these ones and the automatic Winchester out of ammo evacuation. So you want to basically copy these settings if you want to play well. Now, keep in mind, this will change your game and it will definitely be weird. For example, I've seen some people have this on hunt. It basically means that when they click right click, their automatic order is hunt instead of move. Hunt in your mind should be your default order, but you should click the shortcut for hunt instead of having it on default, because sometimes there are some specific micro situations that you want to have move for. Now, for your interface, these are the settings that you want to have. Now, the most important are basically icons, allow label aggression, and HUD size and label size. Second tip of the day is to basically learn your keybinds. Keybinds, in my opinion, are the most important part of WARNO. They are what allow me to have my fast micro, and they will help you in crucial situations when you need to react fast. It's a lot better and it saves you a lot of time instead of basically going to this box down here and constantly clicking either quick hunt, for example. Here I want the quick hunt. I have to go down here and click it. No, 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 no. It saves you a lot of time if you just know your keybinds and can click them confidently. So go into a practice match or go into team games and force yourself to click your keybinds. They are really important, and later on you can queue up lots of orders that you learned, of course. Like, you can queue up lots of things and it saves you a lot of time. Third tip of the day is basically to learn how to control groups. So as you can see, I have two howitzers here. If I hold down control and click the number that I want to assign them to, let's say 2 for example, now anytime I click the number 2 on my keyboard, I automatically select these howitzers. So I don't have to waste time. For example, I'm microing up here. I don't have to waste time to go to these howitzers to select them. I can just simply click 2 and I can RT anything that I want. Another thing that I love to do with this control grouping is to group my ASFs to the following numbers, 1 and 3. So if I have 4 ASFs, I will group them to 2 groups, and if I only have like 2, or if I only have 2, I will group them to 1 group. So here we have 2 groups, 1 to 3 and 1 to 1. And whenever I click 1, I select one group. Whenever I click 3, I select the other group. And basically this is for efficient air micro, so that you don't stack your fighters. Fourth tip of the day is basically auto cover. Now, in my default settings, I have auto cover on, and this is really useful because it makes it so that you don't have to pixel micro all of your units into cover. Now, in some situations when you want to save your unit, this isn't really the most ideal thing. So I have bound the option to switch this off to my Alt key. So whenever I need to save my unit from something that's shooting at it, let's say an autocannon or a tank is shooting at my Spezialne here, all I have to do is click Alt, and as you can see, this has changed from cover to nothing. And if I click to pull out, and then I stop him, as you can see, now he is perfectly safe behind this building, and he's on nothing. If I click Alt, he goes back to auto cover and goes back in the building. So this is really useful for saving your units from fire. Fifth tip of the day is basically an artillery tip. Whenever you shoot at something in this game, most of the time your howitzers don't start aiming at the exact same time. The way to fix this is by once you've clicked to aim them, you select them, and then you click return fire. And now they will wait for each other, and you can release the return fire to time your shells. Now, the original way of aiming artillery and not timing it was bad because you would alert your enemy of what you were shooting before the second shell of the late howitzer hits. This way, with the return fire, you're timing your shells so that you get the most out of them and your enemy cannot retreat in time. So as you can see, if I proceed to click return fire again here, they will shoot at the exact same time, and as you can see, that effectiveness was really good. Sixth tip of the day basically has to do with the radar. Now, some people do not know what this little icon next to your AA units means. This means that they have activated radar. Basically, the cub here, as you can see, has activated radar. If I click here, if you check this, it says radar, whereas the Strela is fire and forget and does not have radar. The Shilka also has radar, which means that if a seed plate comes in, they will spot these AA pieces and they can target them if they have targeting anti-rad missiles. If they're just EW planes, then they will just spot them and nerf their accuracy. So the way you want to counter that and save your AA from seed attacks is by simply turning it off. Keep that in mind. You can also control group it, for example, control grouping my cubs and then turning them off and on again. Seventh tip of the day basically has to do with air optics. So if I start the game here, you can take a look. This MiG-29 has good air optics, which is really bad in my opinion. Good air optics will get you nowhere. This Su-24M HE only has normal air optics. Again, very, very bad. But if you take a look at this Su-27S or this Seed, they both have exceptional air optics. This means that they can actually spot from a long way away what planes the enemy has spawned or is using. So when you're playing divisions like 119 that don't get long-range AA, you need to keep in mind which plane you will use for long-range air detection. Now, having just good optics, in my opinion, will not cut it. You have to go for very good or exceptional. Eighth tip of the day basically has to do with corrected shot. So corrected shot is really important in this game because it basically makes your artillery like 2 or 3 times more powerful, basically. If I take a look, if you aim outside of the corrected shot circle, your circle is bigger, your dispersion is bigger, and you will most likely not kill your target. Whereas if you're corrected shot, your dispersion is much smaller, and the damage that you do to your enemy or your target will be much, much higher. Another thing to note, basically, is that if you're trying to have like fire for effect with your artillery, which in some specific situation, if you're in corrected shot and you do not want to have corrected shot, you basically hold down control and now you've mitigated the effect of corrected shot. Ninth tip of the day basically has to do with the recon helicopters. Now, in every single one of my gameplay videos or any kind of tutorial I've ever made, I specify that starting with at least 2 recon helicopters in any game, mostly ranked to be fair, is essential. Reason being is that you will have an idea of what your opponent is doing and can counter with your own ideas. You will know what your enemy is doing, and then you can go around and play around whatever your enemy is doing. You will also know where your enemy's blob or main force is, and you can immediately bring out any bombers or CAS, or your first tick can be spent countering wherever their main force is. That is essential, because the first tick of every WARNO game is very, very important. And the last tip of the video basically has to do with unloading and loading up the units. Now, back in the day, if you unloaded a unit accidentally, you would have to go one by one and load them back up into these transports. Now that has been fixed a long time ago, and now all you have to do to load all of these guys back up is simply select them all and then right click any unit of choice. And as you can see, they all load back up into their respective transports. Now, a continuation of that would be if you have artillery that fired, towed artillery, and then you queue up, of course, after firing, you queue up load orders, and then you queue up move orders. If this video helped you with anything, please do consider liking and subscribing. It helps me push out my videos to other people. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.